Hello everyone and welcome to the LFR tank guide for Pinnacle of Storms. I apologize for the bit of a delay between the last guide and this one. The last fight in this particular LFR is Lei Shen, and it did take me a couple of tries before I got a recording I was satisfied with, and even in this last one you'll see I was actually lagging a bit, which I apologize for, but hopefully we can get you through it and get you on your way to being a successful tank in this instance. The first boss of Pinnacle of Storms is Aerie Peak. What you're going to be fighting is you're going to be fighting the boss on his 3 mounts and then the boss himself. Basically it all boils down to avoiding shit that's on the ground. It's just going to change colors, but it's going to be very similar, and then you're going to do a taunt swap at 2 impales. He's going to be putting impales on throughout all 4 phases of the fight. Other than that, it's a very simple fight. I'll discuss a couple movement things, but we're probably just going to fast forward through it. First 2 bosses in this instance are very, very simple for the tanks. The third one is the one that makes or breaks the raids. The pull is very simple. You just pull the boss, turn around. He's going to come in. You're going to get hit with an impale pretty soon after that. And after that happens, fires are going to start spawning on the ground. The mounts he chooses are first a fire mount, then I would call it a wind or nature mount, and the final one is a water mount. The whole time you're just going to want to be looking for these ground effects and then try to position the boss so that the melee have a nice spot behind him. It's very self-explanatory. You should start seeing some ground fires appear here on the ground very shortly. Right here I just got hit with my second impale, off tank, taunted the boss nice and quick, keeps it easy on the healers, and we just try to maintain that rotation going through. Right there you see the first set of fires. Out here in the open it's really easy to get out of them. Generally just avoid them, and then you keep on going until the first mount's dead, and rinse and repeat for every other mount. And now we're right near the end of the fire mount's life. It's going to die here. He's going to hop off. I like to taunt the boss just to make sure he doesn't get a melee swing in on a healer or a melee that's real close. Next mount flies in and we rinse and repeat. You should know impale stacks are not reset, so keep an eye on what's going on. I get 2 stacks right here. The other tank takes a little while to get him back, but boom, he's got it right there. No problem. Now at this point, a lot of tanks, what they like to do is move the boss towards the entrance of the room, because a lot of tornadoes are going to spawn and take up the large amount of area here in this big open space. I don't think this is necessary until he flies up into the air, because you're going to lose some DPS time, and this is a bit of a DPS race, especially in pickup groups where you might be carrying a few people. So here, as you see, the lines changed from red to blue. Still, you just don't stand in them. They're called storm clouds. And there he is up in the air. You're going to want to avoid these tornadoes that pop up. You'll see me fail at it because I'm bad, and you just get stunned and thrown around for a little bit, and then you just go back. You will see that after this tornado phase ends, though, we will see right there, it picked me up, which is bullshit, but whatever. After this ends, though, we will move the boss back towards the entrance. It gets a little bit cramped there then, but it's still much better than dealing with the tornadoes consistently. This way you're just steady and your DPS stays behind them, and just do your best to avoid lots and lots of blue lines on the ground here. And magically we fast forward to the part where the third mount flies in. Right there you see the unique gimmick about this mount is that it will shield 2 of its sides. Just keep switching your impale stacks when DBM tells you to. It is possible that your impale stack will wear off when he is stuck doing that shield. And as you see, you just move to the open side, keep tanking, and keep on going. I should note that the lines that spawn on the ground during this phase are a little bit difficult to see because they're a nice light blue, as you'll see right here. So they'll pop out of that spear that he threw, and they look like healing lines. They are not. Don't stand in them. Sometimes it's also helpful to taunt the boss out of a big, tight group of melee that's been enclosed by the spear throw lines. So just taunt him out of there and give him a little bit more room to spread out behind the boss. But that's just a little tip. You don't necessarily need to do this as long as no one's standing in the shit. And finally we have Aerie Peak by himself. Just switch your impales. He's going to do a fist smash that the healers need to heal through, so towards the later ones, just go ahead and help out with demo banner, demo shout, all that good stuff, rallying cry. Just help your healers out a little bit, but this really is up to the DPS. Hopefully you save time warp till this time. You can just burn it and knock him down real quick. That's the fight. Alright, and the second fight is the twin consorts. These are two good looking ladies. One's a night lady, one's a day lady. The night lady, the tank swap mechanic, is Beast of Nightmares. Basically, you're going to be attacked by a Beast of Nightmare, and you need to DPS that Beast. At this point, the other tank should taunt the boss, so all you gotta worry about is the Beast. And you kill the Beast. And the Day Lady is a little bit more complicated, but the tank swap mechanic there is Fan of Flames. You want to swap at 2 or 3 stacks. Doesn't really matter, up to you guys. Just make sure you communicate with the other tank and make sure you're on the same page before the fight starts. Alright, now the other tank, when I was doing this fight, is a little bit new to the fight, so what he actually did there is he taunted before the Beast of Nightmares hit me, so he got attacked by the Beast, and the way to deal with that is you just taunt the boss back, and then he will pull the Beast off here to the left side so you can get a nice pretty look at it, and see he's just killing it off by himself, and that's all you do about it. And that is the first phase of the fight as far as tanks are concerned. After 3 minutes, Day Lady's going to come out, and that lady's going to go away. Here we are, 3 minutes into the future. You'll see that I am still fighting a Beast of Nightmare here, so I actually let the other tank pick up the boss, and I finished off the Beast, and I let the Fan of Flame stacks get up a little bit higher on him. What you will see here, and I'll try to point it out as soon as I see it, is an ice comet's going to come down, and these are little blocks right there. It's right to the left. These are blocks that we want to tank the boss near. Tank the boss near the ice comets will remove a buff she puts on herself that makes her do more damage, and the tank that is tanking the boss should also stand in the little shadow pool next to the ice comet just to make healing a bit easier for the healers. That being said, it's not a particularly huge deal if you don't do it on LFR. Basically, you just want to keep swapping on that tank debuff and moving her as much as you can. She will also run away from you when it's the least convenient, like you saw there, when you're trying to move her around. At that point, you know, just give your DPS a little bit of DPS time. Honestly, the DPS race for this fight is a little bit more important on LFR than the mechanics, as sad as that is. Now, the final phase of the fight, you're going to be fighting both mobs at the same time. They will stop doing their tank swap mechanics for the duration of when they are both up. What you want to do is you just want to kill the Day Lady first, and then kill the Night Lady. And that was a fart. Alright, the rest of this fight is entirely up to the DPS. You just want to kill the Day Lady first, and then switch back to the Night Lady. Hopefully you have people there that know how to handle the Celestials. And that's all you need to worry about. Just keep DPSing, keep doing your thing, keep it pretty gangster, and you will see the ladies die. I should also note that they do resume their tank swap mechanics once there's only one mob left. So right there I just killed a Beast of Nightmare. But that's the fight. And now we get to Lei Shen, and he's a motherfucker. For Lei Shen, I'd like to break this down into things you need to worry about as a tank and as a raider. As a tank, you're going to need to worry about tank swap mechanics and the movement of the boss. Whereas as a raider, when Lei Shen comes into the middle of the room, you're going to need to worry about stacking, and you're going to need to worry about pools that you'll need to stand in. So let's talk about the tank stuff during the fight. First off, there's 3 phases with a transition phase in between each of the 3. So the tank mechanic for phase 1 is Decapitating Strike. This will happen right around the time you're moving between the first pillar and the second pillar, and what you need to do is taunt the boss as soon as you see it so the other tank runs away. If you're the tank currently fighting Lei Shen, you need to get away from him, otherwise he'll beat the fuck out of you. This mechanic is going to continue to happen until the first transition phase. The next thing I'd like to point out is the charge on the pillar that Lei Shen is being tanked next to. He's basically charging this pillar with his awesome electricity power. What you need to do is right around 70–80% of power, you need to start moving him to the next pillar. Now the bear tank here is backpedaling, and I would actually recommend running over and sidestepping over to the next pillar, because when he's not at a pillar, he starts doing raid-wide damage. While you're tanking him in phase 1 and phase 2, you always need to be aware of these power levels. You never want to keep him at a power pillar too long or too briefly. Alright, it's just finding that right balance as you do this fight that'll keep you as a successful tank. You should also be aware of harmful ground effect debuffs, like the one up there in the top right corner called Crashing Thunder. You need to move out of these as fast as you can. Right here, I decided that it's time to move the boss. I am lagging a bit, so as you see, he's just kind of sitting around, and now it all comes together. But yes, I'm moving the boss away and to the next pillar, sidestepping, moving quickly. Each pillar also has abilities for the raid to look out for. This particular one has blue swirlies on the ground that you need to stand in. Here you'll see me get hit with a decapitate, the druid will tank, and I will run the hell away because I don't want to die. I'm going to go ahead and fast forward through this next part because all we're doing is moving the boss and we do a good job at it, and we're taunting fairly well. So here you'll see us moving again and getting over to the next corner of the platform. I'll go ahead and return to normal speed when Lei Shen teleports in the middle and the raider side of things really kicks into play. When Lei Shen teleports to the middle, you'll notice that 4 of the groups have assigned corners of the map. These have been marked with the little colorful banners that you can put down through the WoW interface. Because I'm in group 5, I'm going to the red X. If you plan to be a group leader, you should have a macro made for this fight. Simply designate a group to go to a target and then let the last group, which you have not assigned to a particular area, know that they should be floating around. When you are in your corner, you have several responsibilities. Obviously, if any ads come over, you should tank them. But the main responsibilities here will be overcharge and blue swirlies. You'll see a blue swirly here hit soon. There it is, go stand in it. If no one stands in one of these, they'll spawn an ad. One of these is really easy to deal with. Sometimes you'll get 3 or 4, so it takes a little bit of coordination. The other ability you cast is called Overcharged. You need to stay in this little safe circle that appears below the giant players, otherwise you'll be damaged and stunned when these big fancy rings shoot out from under them. And now we've moved into phase 2 of the fight. So again, we're going to be moving him between now 3 pillars instead of 4, and we're going to be working with a new tank swap mechanic called Fusion Slash. Fusion Slash basically increases the damage that you're going to take from the next Fusion Slash, so it's not as immediate of a need for a taunt as Decapitating Strike was. When Fusion Slash hits the other tank, you just need to find a good spot and taunt from there, generally use it to kind of help with the movement between the pillars. Lei Shen also gained a new ability called Lightning Whip. It just puts a gray area down on the ground and then hits it hard. Here we see the first Fusion Slash hit the druid, so I wait a little while, get over kind of towards the next platform, just make sure I check that debuff, and then I'll go ahead and taunt. And that is it. You should note, however, that the next run from this corner that I'm moving to now to the purple corner is a bit of a long run, so you need to decide when to start that, and you need to move quickly. That being said, during this fight we did not do that because we thought that we could burn Lei Shen into the next phase before he actually blew up this pillar. We end up failing that, and he blows up the pillar, which does a fair amount of damage to the raid. So don't do that, just go ahead and move him to the 3rd pillar. I actually got to give the raid group that I was with a fair amount of credit because they managed to recover from that very well. But it also does show what happens when you do fail at your job, and it's a good thing to be aware of. So now we've moved him over to the other corner, and he ports back to the middle, and the second transition phase. Now as you'll see, the red X no longer needs a group at it because it has been fully electrified. So I just go over here to the blue square and help him out over here with all of their abilities. There is another ability you need to watch out for during this. It's called Static Shock. You see it out in the distance with that blue arrow hopping over a person. You deal with this by stacking on the person, but it's been nerfed into the ground so bad on LFR, it's not really a concern anymore. It used to be a big deal in the fight. Alright, and I've skipped to phase 3. He will start using the 3rd tank debuff that you need to swap for. It's called Overwhelming Power. You'll see it stacking on me. I usually let it get up to about 30 stacks on LFR. For the other tank needs to taunt. It's not too bad, it just does nature damage, also spreads to other people, so it just helps to do a tank swap on it. As far as the rest of the fight goes, he'll also do a wind attack now that'll cover the whole platform. You just need to run so that you stay on the platform, stay out of Thunderstruck, stay out of Lightning Whips, and taunt when the other tank has 30 stacks of that debuff, and you'll be golden and set to go, and you will be done with this hell of a fight. Guys, honestly, just be ready for a couple of wipes on this boss. It is a bit more difficult than most LFR bosses. Some people aren't used to it. Just help them out. It's honestly the best thing you can do. They'll appreciate it, and it's really good loot, especially for tanks. So I hope you get it. I hope you've enjoyed the video. I hope this covered most of it, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments. My name's Paul from the Aerie Peak Guild Cardio, and thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.